Hey guys, it's Ferrari. Welcome to Free Square Gaming. So over the course of the pandemic, I've been doing a lot of flying in Flightgear, which is my flight simulator. And today I thought I'd just show you guys kind of my process and how I go about it. So today we're going to be flying from San Francisco to Amsterdam as KLM 606 in this Boeing 777-200. Going to be departing runway 1 left via the Trunken 2 departure and then climbing to flight level 350 or 35,000 feet. This is a 10-hour flight, so I'm not going to record the entire thing, obviously. So I'm just going to be recording the takeoff and the approach into France, or into Amsterdam. And as soon as the ground crew is finished up here and the passengers are loaded, we'll go ahead and get started with the pushback. So thank you guys very much for watching. This is a bit of a different video, but this is something I've been wanting to do for a second, but haven't at the time. So glad I can do it now. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. So enjoy the video.
Visibility Nihar. View cloud and Nihar front right. Temperature 18, 2.12. Altimeter 2 is Nihar 5.
Okay, so here we are. We're loaded up and ready to go. So we'll verify all doors are closed. Outside personnel, there's no equipment around us, so we can push back. At this point, we don't have any ATC and we don't have any cabin crew because this is a single player and this flight sim doesn't really support that. But at this point, we would ask the flight attendants to prep the cabin for departure, close all doors, verify, and then stand by for all call. Let's go inside now. Let's go beacon light on, and our nav light's going to be on. And we will bring out the pushback. And our pushback is connected. Release the parking brake. And at this point, we will assume that we have obtained push and start clearance. And while this is going on, let's go ahead and turn the transponder to Alt RPG off, and now we can begin pushback. Okay, so now that we push back, we can start the engines. So our beacon light is on. At this point, we would have contacted ground, and they would have given us push and start clearance, like I said. So go ahead and turn the strobe light on to let everyone know that we're starting our engines. And we're going to go put all of the fuel switches in, so fuel pumps are on. And let's go ahead and start the first engine. So engine number 1 is coming on. Turn the starter motor to the start position. And we'll look here and we'll verify that as N2 is increasing, N1 is also increasing. So little by little, we got that going for us. So once N2 hits 20, we'll go ahead and turn the fuel cutoff switch to the on position. And as you can see, it's already running up. And once that's finished, we'll go ahead and turn up to the overhead panel and switch the engine number 2 to starter position as well. Alright, engine 1 is operative. Engine number 2 is coming on. And fuel switch for engine number 2 is coming on too. And now while that's running up, we can turn the APU off. And our startup checklist is now complete. So after startup, we get the time noted down. Start switches have been turned back to the normal position. Engine parameters are looking good. Yep, everything's stable. And hydraulic pumps, turn these all the way on. And window heat. And let's go ahead and set the flaps for takeoff. We're going to set them to 15 degrees. And verify all doors closed. Yep, correct. Let's take a look at the flight controls here. Looks like our left and right wing is okay. Stabs looking good as well. And strobe lights are going to come off. And that is the after start checklist complete. So now at this point we would call up San Francisco ground and ask them for taxi clearance, but seeing as how there's no ATC, we'll just go ahead and do that for ourselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the taxi light on, and we're going to turn the transponder to the Alt RPG off position, which is already on. And we're going to go ahead and turn... Oh yeah, nav lights and everything else are already on, so all we need to do is just turn the taxi light on, which we did. And so at this point, we would run up the engines and begin our taxi out. And we have movements, so run them up to about 20% and then bring them back down just to get that initial push. And we are rolling. One thing I should mention is we are taxiing out to runway 1 left, and I know that is the departure runway as confirmed by ATIS, but there's a good chance that the AI at San Francisco in this game are too stupid and have gone to 2.8 instead of 1. So there's a possibility that we might take off into just perpendicular traffic, which would never happen in the real world. In fact, that would probably be... you would probably get sent to jail for that. So what we're going to try and do is avoid any collisions and try and do this as safely as possible. And just follow this taxiway all the way down to 1 left. Okay guys, so here we are, runway 1 left, holding short at Mike. It looks like we're going to have a few issues with some of the aircraft on the perpendicular taxiways, but let's not worry about that for now. So let's go ahead and do our before takeoff checklist. So at this point we would have already contacted Tower, and they would have already given us takeoff clearance, or line-up clearance. So what we're going to do is set ourselves up for takeoff here by setting the transponder to TARA. Cabin lights are going to come off, and strobe lights are going to come on. And landing lights are going to come on. Taxi lights are going to come off. And it looks like the exterior lighting is okay. Anti-ice is set to auto. Everything looks good on the overhead panel. Auto brakes are going to be set to reject takeoff in case we have a little bit of a crash. But time has been noted. Autopilot's off. We're going to set the auto throttle switches to on though. So once we're in the air above 500, we're going to activate the autopilot and the auto throttle, and then we'll just watch it go. So with that being said, we are ready to get rolling here. So let's go ahead and line ourselves up on the runway. We'll assume that we have takeoff clearance from Tower. Release the parking brake. And just ease it onto the runway. And as soon as we verify that we're on 1 left, we'll go ahead and just punch it. Okay, 1 left verified. Let's go ahead and run up the engines and take off thrust. Instruments looking okay. Once we get around 150, we're going to have to kick the rudder, so I'm waiting for that. 80 knots. All good. Cross-check continuing. Kick that rudder. There it is. And we are nearly going to avoid this collision with the Delta. Actually, we may have already hit it, but that's fine. Not worried about that right now. And V1, rotate. And we have positive rate. Gear up. Reset the rudder here. Oh, that's not the button I wanted to hit. Reset the rudder. Now we're going to head and take our flaps out as well. And we're going to set the autopilot. And LNAV. There we go. And now we can just sit back and watch it go. And so here we are coming up to our first waypoint. We're at 3,000 because that's the restriction, and we're under 250 knots. But once we pass this waypoint, we'll go ahead and set the altitude to our full cruising altitude, which is going to be 35,000. And once we pass 10,000, we'll go ahead and set the speed to our full climb power, which is going to be 275 knots for today. Okay, looks like we've passed. Let's go ahead and set our autopilot to our full climb power. Okay, so passing 10,000 now. We're going to turn the landing lights off, and we're going to bump up our speed to 275. Okay, so at this point we have reached our cruising altitude, flight level 350, and we're almost about to reach our cruising speed. So what we're going to do is just turn the seatbelt signs to auto, and the passengers are now free to move about. Alright, and that's going to be it for the first part of this video, so thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you guys when we descend into Amsterdam.